On the Way Home by Jill Murphy. Claire had a bad knee, so she set off home to tell her mum all about it. On the way home, Claire met her friend Abigail. "Look at my bad knee," said Claire. "How did you do it?" asked Abigail. "Well," said Claire, "there was a very big, bad wolf, and it came sneaking up behind me as I passed by, and it tried to take me home for its tea. But I screamed for help, and a woodcutter came and chased the wolf away, and the wolf dropped me, and that's how I got my bad knee." "Gosh," said Abigail. Then Claire met her friend Paul. "Look at my bad knee," said Claire. "How did you do it?" asked Paul. "Well," said Claire, "there was a vast flying saucer, and it came zooming out of the sky and tried to carry me off to a distant planet. But I struggled free just in time and fell crashing to the earth far below. And that's how I got my bad knee." "Good gracious me," gasped Paul. Then Claire met her friend Amarji. "Look at my bad knee," said Claire. "How did you do it?" asked Amarji. "Well," said Claire, "there was a huge, hungry crocodile, and it came lumbering out of the canal as I passed by, and it tried to pull me into the water. But I crammed a piece of wood between its jaws, and it was so cross that it knocked me over with its tail, and that's how I got my bad knee." "How dreadful," said Amarji. Then Claire met her friend Robert. "Look at my bad knee," said Claire. "Well, how did you do that?" asked Robert. "Well," said Claire, "there was a big, fat snake, and it came slithering out of a tree, and it wrapped itself around me, and it squeezed and it squashed, but I tickled it until it couldn't stop laughing, and it dropped me, and that's how I got my bad knee." "I see," gasped Robert. Then Claire met her friend Samantha. "Look at my bad knee," said Claire. "Well, how did you do it?" asked Samantha. "Well," said Claire, "there was an enormous dragon, and it came soaring out of the clouds, and it picked me up in its claws. But I gave it such a big kick that it dropped me, and I fell for miles and miles through the air, and that's how I got my bad knee." "Whew!" cried Samantha. Then Claire met her friend Nick. "Look at my bad knee," said Claire. "How did you do it?" asked Nick. "Well," said Claire, "there was a great, hairy gorilla, and it came creeping out of a garage as I passed by, and it tried to drag me away, but I stamped on its toes so hard that it let me fall to the ground with a bump, and that's how I got my bad knee. And I didn't cry." "Crumbs," said Nick. Then Claire met her friend Celia. "Look at my bad knee," said Claire. "How did you do it?" asked Celia. "Well," said Claire, "there was a gigantic giant, and he came stamping through the houses, and he picked me up and said, 'Fee, fi, fo, fum, a tasty girl for my hungry tum.' But I punched him on the nose so hard that he let me fall, and that's how I got my bad knee." "Well, I never," exclaimed Celia. Then Claire met her friend Jonathan. "Look at my bad knee," said Claire. "How did you do it?" asked Jonathan. "Well," said Claire, "there was a ghastly ghost, and it came gliding out of a gloomy graveyard as I passed by, and it went, 'Woo!' But I ran away so fast that I left it behind, and then I tripped over, and that's how I got my bad knee." "Wow," said Jonathan. Then Claire met her friend Hannah. "Look at my bad knee," said Claire. "How did you do it?" asked Hannah. Well, said Clay, there was a wicked old witch, and she came swooping down from the rooftops and bundled me into her shopping bag. But I broke the bag with my feet and dived out onto the hard pavement. And that's how I got my bad knee. Dear me, exclaimed Hannah. Clay arrived home and her mum came out. Look at my bad knee, said Clay. How did you do it? Asked her mum. Well, said Clay, I was in the playground and I was having such a nice time on a swing when suddenly, I fell off. Clay burst into tears. Never mind, said her mum. Come inside and we'll put a plaster on it. A very big plaster? Asked Clay. The biggest in the whole box, said her mum. The end.